capping all 5 offensive stats. But is it also reliable to do so? Yes, it is. Roll it. Welcome back, everyone, and before we begin, a quick shout out to all 18 of my channel members: Riled, Minimi, Achilles, Bruno Battlehammer, Kenny Bird, Yabawaki, Mel Adams, Trevor, Justa Ninja, Billy K, Dan Chan, Ant-Man, Athena, and Fowlan. Thank you for your support. And if you want to, you can also become a member by clicking the join button next to the subscribe button. And if you want to, you can also join my Discord. The link is in the description. And here's my merch. Yep, made some cool merch if anybody's interested. And also, here's a quick message from Jesus.
Hello, window lickers. Mortals. It's me, your favorite almighty Lord and Savior Jesus, and Galactic Underwear's YouTube channel is the answer to your prayers. I myself abandoned the Tower of the Mad Mage to come down here to give you this heavenly message. I am the most reputable person, ever. So subscribe to Galactic and like all his videos. He's out of this world. Follow Galactic and he'll shine a light on your path to salvation.
So here we are. So can you cap 5 stats to 90% in AoE in single target? So far I have managed to do it in AoE, and I'm very, very close in single target. There are probably ways to cap it in single target if you remove some single target companions to make room for more stats, but I want to keep at least 2 damage companions for single target, and they are the Minsk and the Batiri, of course. And using the 2 damage companions makes capping stats in single target more of a challenge. Also, capping using a striker companion is even more difficult. So in this video, and for now, I'm using the Owlbear companion to gain some extra accuracy. So as you see on your screen now, my build looks no different than most DPS builds. Where the change actually is going to happen is on my companion gear, my consumables, and my mounts. So for gear, I use the Serene Hood for crit, Tactful Leathers for crit and crit severity, Gloves of Precipitation for extra power, of course the Lionheart weapons, Wasteland Wanderer boots for the extra combat advantage, the Mythalar set, the Band of Air, the Soothsayer's Ring of Absolution for the extra 7% crit strike, the Corrupted Shirt, and the Defiant Dwarven Pants. The enchantments I use are the Jade for crit strike on the offensive, and I use Garnets for defense on the defensive slots. I also use Garnet for the Forte in the utility slot, and I use the movement speed bonus and Curse Burn for my AoE and combat enchantments. You can also use Poison Thorn, there's hardly any difference in AoE, but I prefer Curse Burn in AoE. And of course Devil's Precision Overload for the 5% accuracy and crit strike, and obviously the Storyteller's Journals for now, which is the Envenomed, Frozen, and Flayed, but I will be changing them out to Dragon artifacts after the Band of Air nerf. For companion gear, I use the 2 Grimoires with combat advantage and 1 Sword Knot with accuracy, and I also use the Perfect Vision enhancement for another 7.5% accuracy, Divine Judgment for crit severity and crit chance, the new Jarlank's companion for the 7.5% accuracy. I also use Drist and Wolfgar for the increased stat benefits to 4.7% instead of 3.8 for, using them both together. One has crit strike and crit severity, and the other has combat advantage and accuracy. And then, of course, I use the Book Imp for more accuracy and combat advantage. And obviously, I use an Owlbear augment. In the mounts area, I use rapid accuracy instead of ferocity to get myself a 4,500 boost in accuracy itself. Guild boons, I use crit strike and defense plus movement speed. And you could also pause the screen to see the rest of my campaign boons right here. For insignia bonuses, I use Artificer's Persuasion, 2 Gladiator's Guile, and 2 Assassin's Covenant for those extra stats. All individual insignias are mostly with power and forte, and some of them have power and crit severity. I'll hover over them all so you can see them one by one, and you can pause to have a look yourself. And the collars are as usual. 1 for encounter damage, 1 for crit severity, 1 for astral diamonds, 1 for movement speed, and 1 for stamina. And here are my feats in case you are interested in having a look at them. None of them grant me any stats towards capping, except for Skillful Infiltrator, which grants 2.5% crit strike. And the ability scores in AoE are all STR and Charisma. Now let's move on to single target. The gear for the single target build is exactly the same as the AoE build, except I swapped out Lionheart for the Mirage. In group play, especially trials, you'll probably want to use the Masterwork weapons instead. Also, the main hand weapon bonus is Duelist Flurry. and the offhand is accuracy with recharge speed. As for the feats, you just click all the bottom ones, and I do use hastily sharpened knives to get that extra 5 to 6% crit and cap my crit even if it doesn't show as green on the screen. And in single target, my enchantments are all the same. The only difference is for single target, I use Poison Thorn instead of Cursed, and I use recharge speed instead of movement speed. For companions, I use the exact same gear. The only difference is in companions, and there I removed the Zerial companion and the Jarlank's companion to add the Batiri and the Minsk. The Drizzt, Wolfgar, and the Book Imp stay as they were in the AoE build. In the mount section, everything is exactly the same as it was in the AoE build. Only difference is I use Tongue Lash instead of Divine Intervention. I also use the same Insignia bonuses and same individual insignias. And for the ability stats, I use STR and Dexterity for single target, as opposed to AoE, which was STR and Charisma. And of course, I use the Forger's Box on both builds. Oh, and I almost forgot, on my offhands, both in AoE and ACT, I use accuracy and recharge speed. Now here's the tricky part. For you to be able to cap all 5 stats to 90, you'll need to use the more expensive 10% to power and accuracy Watermelon Sorbet, as opposed to the 5% one. If you use the 5% one, you can still cap all 4 main stats, but your accuracy will stand at around 86 to 87% in AoE, and in single target, it'll probably be like 75. The other consumables I use is Stormwind's Elixir and the Major Flask of Potency. Both are used to help cap your crit and your crit severity. Now let me show you how I cap in AoE, then I'll show you how I cap in single target. So as you can see, in AoE, I can cap all 5 stats consistently at 90%. In single target, I can cap 4 stats, and accuracy just over 80%. And just so you know, crit is also capped even if you don't see the 90% number. Remember, I'm using hastily sharpened knives, which gives me 5 to 6% crit chance. You just don't see it on the screen. So that's about it. There you have it. How to cap all 5 main stats in AoE, and how to get very, very high, almost capped stats in single target. And of course, using the Owlbear. I'm going to try to do the same thing with Striker builds and the Icosahedron at some point. But until then, that's what I got for now. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Galactic here. Peace out. Stay safe.